What's up everyone, this is JadaToys, back with another review, and this time I'm taking a look at a highly anticipated figure of mine and one of my most favorite fictional characters of all time, Ken Masters from Street Fighter 2, and this is from JadaToys obviously. So JadaToys has been getting a lot of praise recently. I have the Chun-Li figure, I don't have the RYU figure because I think RYU is pretty boring, but I have the Chun-Li figure. The Chun-Li figure is pretty good. I think there's a few things that could have been done a little bit differently. Then there was a leak of a variant Chun-Li that's coming out with the pink attire, and they're going to throw in some alternate hands and the alternate head. That kind of upsets me because that variant is going to be hard to track down probably. But anyway, that was a good figure. Now we got Ken today. Like I said, one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. One of my favorite fighting game characters, probably in the top 3. And definitely my favorite Street Fighter character. So we'll see how good this figure is. Even though I know it's probably just a repaint of the RYU figure. Which again, I don't have that figure. RYU is a cool character, but he's just not as interesting as Ken. I always liked Ken more than RYU. He's got an attitude, but he's still willing to put in the work and train hard. He still manages to be equal with RYU. When the figure was first announced, I had to pick it up. I did pre-order it on Big Bad, but the pre-order doesn't come out until March. And he's already showing up at different Target stores in the US. So that made me kind of jealous, so I just bought it from eBay for about 50 bucks, you know, but it's a character that I really want, so I don't mind paying like double the price to get it earlier. So let's see how good this figure is. And we'll start off with the detail, and of course the gi and the pants I think are the same sculpt as the RYU figure, so not anything surprising there. And I think the feet and the arm sculpts are probably all the same. I think the chest is also probably the same. I don't have the RYU figure to compare it to, but I'm assuming it's all pretty much the same. But the main difference is going to be in the color. Of course, you got the red color, and the red actually matches up between the gi and the pants. That's cool. We got the black belt, and it's a nice flexible material. Would have been really cool if this part of the glove right here was a separate piece and it was flexible, so it could cover up that skin tone poking through on the wrist. But otherwise, you know, it's a really good figure. It looks nice. You got shading on the muscles, and on the chest, and that turned out really good. And it's a pretty good representation of what he looked like in Street Fighter 2. You know, just kind of in a sort of a different style. His hair is really soft, so it gets out of the way. And yeah, I really like this expression. He's got that smirk, maybe overly confident, but he's got the skills to back up his trash talking. And there's no sloppy paint applications on pretty much any part of the figure. It all turned out really clean and really nice, so really like the look of the figure. Then the alternate head sculpt is an angry one, and this one turned out pretty good too. And I have to point out again that the hair is really soft, so that's a positive, but it's also a negative because that means there could be some tearing in the hair, like you can see right there, starting to tear right there. But besides that, it looks really good, and it helps the head articulation also. Then we have his Hadouken effect. So technically it's not a Hadouken, it's like a different kind of Hadouken. I forgot what it's called though. I think RYU uses it too. There's like hands sculpted in there, so that's kind of interesting. The stand is okay, but it should have been a little bit taller so that you can make a more natural Hadouken looking attack, but it's not too bad. Now we'll get into the articulation, and I put the alternate head sculpt in there with the angry expression. But the articulation is the same as the RYU figures, so if you've seen that, there's nothing new going on here. But I do want to point out that some parts feel kind of loose, so like the bicep swivel could have been a little bit tighter, and there's some wiggling room in there as well, so I feel like they could have tightened up that whole thing there. So with other articulations, you can get a lot of good poses, and you can do some little nuances here and there to make the poses look more realistic. So kind of a missed opportunity to give Ken a Shoryuken effect, but I do have a lot of accessories from Marvel Legends that, you know, anybody can use for the fire Shoryuken that he does. So I think that looks awesome. Then you can also put the same fire effect on his foot, so you can do like a fire kick. So that's also pretty cool. So now we'll do some height comparisons and then get into some head swaps. He's about the same height, which is kind of unfortunate. You know, I think Ken should be a little bit taller. I believe he's the same height as RYU though. So Ken and RYU probably should be a little bit more taller, because then when you put Chun-Li next to either of them, it makes Ken and RYU look a little bit too short, I think. Or maybe Chun-Li's too tall. It's It's probably a little bit of both. Here he is next to Marvel Legends Punisher, so it's a little bit of a taller Marvel Legends figure. And then G.I. Joe General Hawk. He's also a little bit taller than Ken. And here he is next to Your Forger. He is a lot taller than Ken, which again makes Ken look pretty weak. And this is going to be really cool. Here he is next to Jin Kazama. And then of course King is going to be a lot more taller than Ken. Yeah, really cool to have Tekken and Street Fighter characters in the collection. I hope they keep coming out with those Tekken figures. Here he is next to a wrestling figure. Here is Hulk Hogan Ultimate Edition. Here he is next to Masterverse He-Man. And this is pretty much like 3 of my most favorite fictional characters ever. And continuing with my favorite fictional characters, here's PW Toys Resident Evil 6 Leon and Ada Wong. Now we'll do some head swaps and then we'll put some clothes on him. So first off, here's the Masterverse He-Man head on the Ken body. And then the reverse of that is not really possible. The Ken head doesn't fit on the Masterverse body, but you can kind of get an idea of what that would look like. Here is Hulk Hogan's head on the Ken body, and that's what that looks like. And then again, the Ken head doesn't fit on the wrestling body, but you can kind of get an idea of what that would look like. Here's Lloyd Forger's head on the Ken body. Looks kind of weird, but the reverse of that looks pretty cool, I think. The proportions don't match, so it does look kind of weird. So it's better if you use a Marvel Legends suited body. So here's Ken's head on the Marvel Legends Happy figure. And this looks way better. And this actually makes a lot more sense than the previous body. And here's a random G.I. Joe body with the neck peg cut off, so heads like this can fit better on it. Here's the Ken head on the Lim Toys Leon. Here's the Marvel Legends Old Man Hawkeye head. So this could work as like an old Ken custom. So that looks, I think that looks pretty cool. And here's Marvel Legends Punisher head on the Ken body. And finally for the head swaps, here's Jean-Claude Van Damme on the Ken body. And this looks really sick. So most regular shirts are going to be hard to put on him because his shoulders are so wide. But jackets and stuff like this, vests, are going to fit a lot better. So here's what this looks like. Just a regular black vest. That looks pretty cool. Pants are also going to be a problem because he's already got pretty big pants. So putting pants over that is going to be difficult. Here's another jacket on him. And the jacket doesn't actually zip up because his shoulders are so broad. But besides that, it doesn't look that bad. Here's another jacket. This one looks a little bit better, but it is more baggy on him. Here's another sweater with the sleeves cut off. This one looks pretty good. It might be one of the best ones so far. Fits really well with the rest of the figure. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. And here he is with a red polo shirt. This also looks pretty sick. Here he is with the raincoat. And like I said earlier, pants aren't really going to fit on this figure. You'd have to get like new legs to swap out with the current legs. Otherwise, any pants that fit are going to be way too big. And it just looks pretty ridiculous. So I think this Ken figure is a really good release from JadaToys. Even though it's basically just a RYU repaint, I think it still works really well. So really cool to have a Ken figure in the collection. That's everything I have to say about this figure. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any questions, let me know. You can also follow me on Instagram @TrendKillToys. I gotta go. I'll see you in the next one.